Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video I'll be taking you through the WYRMBLADE kill team rules for the GENESTEALER cults recently published in White Dwarf issue 472. Recently did a review of the whole issue, going through like the flick through of the whole magazine, but in this video we'll just focus on the article for Kill Team, and there's quite a lot to go through here, so it's pretty in-depth. And if you watch the Thousand Suns video I did before for a previous article for Kill Team, then it's going to go much the same way. So we'll go through it, break it all down, and then do a comparison between the Kill Team here and the Kill Team in the compendium. So this video is really an overview of the article, and I'm just picking out some bits that stand out, making those comparisons, just to give you an idea as to whether or not this is something you'd like to add to your collection. And if you do, then you could really spend time reading through it and deciding what tactics to play that suits your game style the best. So the compendium will give us 11 pages, and there's quite a few options for operatives there already, so it's not too bad. But this article in the White Dwarf gives 24 pages altogether, and 2 of those are for painting. But yeah, loads of information here to go through. Some will be more applicable to match play and Spec Ops narrative play, but some will be only for Spec Ops narrative play. So I find it quite helpful to just break it down into the 3 ways to play: open, matched, and Spec Ops narrative. And for all of these, you're going to come up with a kill team name, the operative names, a background, and a squad quirk. In all 3 ways to play, you're going to go for the kill team, the operatives, the abilities, the data cards, the strategic ploys, and tactical ploys. So that applies to each of these 3 ways to play. Then if you play match play or Spec Ops narrative play, you'll also have equipment and tac ops. And finally, in Spec Ops narrative play, you're going to have a base of operations, battle honours, rare equipment, strategic assets, requisitions, and Spec Ops. And all this is included in the article. So I'll be using the White Dwarf magazine and the compendium, and where it's appropriate, I'll just put a comparison between the article and the compendium so you can see how things have changed and then judge for yourself whether or not that's an improvement. Right, let's get started. So first of all, we've got this nice introduction to the WYRMBLADE kill teams called the Lurking Worm, and this kind of gives an idea of how the GENESTEALER cults are fitting in to the world that is Kill Team. Then there's a nice section on names and demeanours, and here you can either choose or you can roll randomly using the dice as they show you in each table. So here you've got table 1 and 2 for your kill team name. So you can choose again or just roll a d6, and then that's pretty much going to cover that. Then you've got squad quirk and background, and this is just building into the narrative. Maybe you'll use these quirks and backgrounds to decide how you play the game. And then you've got a name generator for the operatives. So again, roll a dice. It's a d6-6. So you roll 1d6 first and then another d6, and that tells you which name to use. And finally, base of operations. And this is really fun, and this comes in when you play the narrative Spec Ops play. Then we get another brief introduction, and then it goes on to look at the operatives. So first of all, we've got the archetype, and they're going to get infiltration and seek and destroy. And then it tells us that below we'll find a list of operatives that make up the kill team. And so let's have a look at those operatives now. So first up, you have to choose one neophyte leader, and then there's some rules there about which weapons you can include, and then you've also got 13 WYRMBLADE operatives to choose from. So you could potentially have 14 operatives in this kill team, which is crazy. So this is really going to get lots of miniatures on the table. So if you like that idea of having lots of them, then this could be a great kill team to go with. I mean, if you prefer having fewer miniatures, then you want to look at like Space Marines. Grey Knights are really good. You're only taking like 4 or 5 then, so that's going to be a lot easier to remember the rules because you haven't got so many operatives to be concerned about. But if you do like this idea and want to dive in real deep and focus on one that gives you lots of options with weapons, then I think you've got lots to work with here. Just like all the kill teams, there's conditions about which weapons they can bring, how many can bring specific weapons, and different things like that. And also some of these are going to count as 2 operatives. So if you pick the Sanctus Sniper, for example, then that's going to count as 2 selections. So then you wouldn't have that full 14 miniatures in the kill team. If you choose one of those, it's going to count as 2, so you'd have 13 and so on. And this reminds me of the Deathcore of Krieg a bit, because here, as you can see, you can have the Brood Adept operatives as many as you like, but for the rest, you can only include each of those operatives once. So you can only have one of these different specialists, but you can have as many Brood Adepts as you like. And also your kill team can only include up to 2 Gunner operatives, and up to 2 heavy gunner operatives, and up to 2 cult agent operatives. So there's quite a few conditions, and I think if you want to just like pause and look at that and then break it down, you could work out which ones you would like to include in your kill team. Once you've decided on the operatives, then you've got the abilities, your strategic ploys, and your tactical ploys. And again, lots going on here. They're including loads of rules, so a real big improvement on the compendium, and we'll start to see some comparisons in a minute. So let's have a look at the abilities first, because this is really going to give you an idea as how you might want to play them tactically. So the first ability is called Cult Ambush, and during the first turning point, when this operative is activated, you can change its order. And the first time this operative performs either a fight or shoot action in each of its activations, if its order was changed from conceal to engage during that activation, in the roll attack dice step of that combat or shooting attack, you can re-roll any or all of your attack dice results of 1 result. So I think what they mean by that is if you get say you roll 3 dice and you get 2 2s, you can re-roll those 2 dice that both have the same result of 2. And if you only get 1 2, you can re-roll that 2. And the same would go if you got 2 4s. You could re-roll both of those 4s if you wanted to. So that's another wordy little rule there, but I think it makes sense once it's broken down. So being able to change the order here really builds into this idea of the ambush. At first they're concealed, and then you can change it to engage, and then they can make that strike against the enemy. The next ability is called Preternatural Assassin, and this operative cannot be equipped with equipment. Then this operative has a 4+ invulnerable save, and each time a shooting attack is made against this operative in the roll defense dice step of that shooting attack, before rolling the defense dice, if it is in cover, you can do one of 2 things. First, you can retain 1 additional dice as a successful normal save as a result of cover, or 2, you can retain 1 dice as a successful critical save instead of a normal save as a result of cover. So right away I'm thinking this is going to be perfect for those assassins, those snipers as well, and having that extra 4+ invulnerable save and being able to retain that additional dice or that 1 dice as a critical save is really going to keep them in the game and kind of play into that narrative that they're hard to hit, they're striking from the shadows, and they're pretty elusive characters on the battlefield. Now let's have a look at those strategic ploys, and you can see here that the Kill Team Compendium had 2, but now we've got 4, so a lot more to look at here. So let's take a look at the 4 strategic ploys. So here are the 4 strategic ploys, and I'm not going to read through all of these in this video. This is really an overview just to show you exactly what you can expect from the White Dwarf magazine. But one that stands out is this one with the shadows again, and this is going to be 1 command point, and until the end of the turning point, when determining line of sight from an enemy operative to a friendly operative, if that friendly operative has a conceal order, then light terrain is obscuring. So again, it's playing on that idea that you're striking from the shadows, you're elusive, you're sneaky, and so it really builds on that. So you can see how these strategic ploys and the abilities are really playing on that narrative. Then with the tactical ploys, we're going to get 4 from the new article, and there's also 4 from the compendium, but they're very different. So let's take a look at the ones in the White Dwarf magazine now. So as you can see, some of these have got quite a lot of rules attached to them, so a lot of reading to do, a lot of learning and trying it out on the tabletop before you play a proper game, I imagine. But here again, looking at the names, you've got Slink into Darkness, Hiding. All these are going to be 1 command point each, but Slink into Darkness, that's going to allow you to change that order again and things like that. So it's really just building into that like flipping how they're going to do something during the game, and then using them maybe to ambush, keeping them hidden from the enemy, staying in those shadows. So it really is a big emphasis on that kind of tactical play. I really like the hiding tactical ploy. That's really cool. You can have 2 operatives hidden during the setup phase of the mission sequence. So yeah, really liking this one. Again, lots of rules attached to it, so a good amount of reading to do. But I like the sound of that, and you're going to attach that to your assassins for sure. Now we're on to the data cards, and you're going to get 9 operatives for the Wyrmblade. Some are going to repeat what you've got in the compendium and just make a few changes to them, but the compendium offers you 14 different operatives, so it's got more operatives in there, but this one is introducing some new ones we haven't seen yet, and I think they're really fun, and I like the way they would fit in to this particular Wyrmblade kill team. So first up, we've got the Neophyte Leader, and you can see this compares to the compendium version, the Neophyte Hybrid, which is a leader. And although the characteristics in the top right are the same, quite a lot's changed here with the special rules. So you can see there's quite a lot there that's moved around. You've also got this new ability, the Shadow Vector, and also that Cult Ambush that we looked at previously. So there's quite some changes there to this leader. So a lot to read through. Again, pause the video and you can check out exactly what's included. Next, we've got the Kellamorph, and this is going to be a completely new operative. So this one has got a lot going on here. Look at those abilities. You've got Cult Ambush, Preternatural Assassin, then they've got Heroic Inspiration and Expert Gunslinger, and unique actions for the weapons too. So yeah, loads and loads going on with this one. And right away I like that Expert Gunslinger, where you can perform 2 shoot actions during each of the activations. The third operative is the Neophyte Brood Adept, and this is very similar to the Neophyte Hybrid Trooper that we saw in the compendium. So again, all the characteristics are the same weapon options, and just looking at it, it looks like all the stats are the same there, and the only difference being here we've got for an ability, you get the Cult Ambush. Next is the Neophyte Gunner, and this is very similar again, so the stats are the same, the characteristics, pretty much everything to do with the weapons is the same, but just notice that the Weber has now got 5 attacks instead of 4, and also the Cult Ambush ability. Next is the Neophyte Heavy Gunner, and this all looks exactly the same except for that ability, and also he's got 1 less wound. So in the compendium version he had 8 wounds, but now he's only got 7. Next is the Neophyte Icon Bearer, and the stats for the characteristics are the same, the weapons are the same. We've got those different abilities though. Icon Bearers remain, but you've got an additional Cult Ambush. The unique action's different as well. We used to have the Cult Icon, but now it's Signal the Strike. And of course you can still use the kill teams from the compendium and use all those rules. This is just a separate kill team. Now we're on to one of the new operatives, the Sanctus Sniper, and this guy looks great. Very simple weapons to choose from there, but it's going to do some serious damage. That's a hard hitting one, and look at those unique actions as well. So lots of nice rules for this guy. And look at that familiar soul sight for 1 AP. He can then ignore like smoke. The enemy operative cannot be obscured for this shooting attack. And he's also going to be equipped with a no cover special rule too. So this makes him a pretty good one to include, I think. And here's another new operative called Sanctus Talon, and this guy's great. He's really about dashing around and darting around the battlefield and getting into those positions to make a charge and then deal some damage. So this is your assassin character who wants to get up close. So you've also got the sniper and him. So these are the 2 characters you're going to probably want to use that hiding tactical ploy with. And so from just first sight when I was reading through this, I really like the idea of having this assassin and the sniper and almost building the kill team around supporting them and really using that tactical ploy to really like develop how I would play the game tactically. So I think there's a lot you can do with these, and yeah, really worth reading, trying out some different ones. And if you've got these models already, then I think this is going to be fantastic to use as a kill team. But we're not done yet. Now we've also got a Locus. And it says here that this is the bodyguard that you would use to protect your leader. So this is pretty cool. And look at all these different abilities and unique actions. They couldn't fit any more on the data card. So there's an awful lot going on here. And the ranged attack is okay, but look at that close combat. That's pretty impressive. And combining that with the abilities, Duelist and Expert Swordsman, this one's going to do some serious damage. Having those 2 fight actions per activation is really good. Okay, so that's all the data cards, so we're getting there now. Now we're moving into match play and Spec Ops narrative play. So let's take a look at the equipment and TAC Ops. So here you've got some options for some blast weapons, a frag grenade and blasting charge. One's going to do a little bit more damage than the other, like the blasting charge will do a little bit more damage and cost you 1 extra EP. We've also got some climbing equipment that's going to help some of those sneaky operatives get up and above the terrain, get up there, cover a bit more ground, a bit more quickly, maybe get into cover. You've also got the flash visor. Spotlight looks good. This helps you when an enemy operative is visible and within red of a friendly operative with the ability. That enemy cannot be obscured, so that's going to certainly help with those short-ranged attacks. And then finally, Cult Talisman. And this is a once per battle piece of equipment, but could help you out in a sticky spot. If we compare the equipment between the compendium, you can see that some of them are very similar. Blasting charge has changed a little bit, you can do a bit more damage with it now, and then there's also some different ones in there. So it mixes it up a little bit, but certainly plays into this more like assassin role. Now let's have a look at the TAC Ops, and the first one's called Nowhere Unreachable, and this is going to really play into that Sanctus Talon and the abilities to move around the battlefield quickly and getting that extra bit of distance, so that's going to help you achieve an extra VP there. Then you've got Perfect Ambush and Mark for Assassination, and so yeah, really it's all about ambush, being sneaky, assassinating key members of the enemy, and so yeah, you really are going to build this around those 2 assassin characters, I think. Now we're on to the rules that are going to apply to Spec Ops narrative play, and so this is going to be battle honours and rare equipment, things like that. So let's take a look at the battle honours first, and here you can see there's going to be 6 altogether: Scurry, Elusive, Fallback, Mercurial, Prowler, Stalker, Clandestine. Again, all these words playing in to that idea of being ambush and sneaky and using those tactics to almost trap the enemy and strike when they least expect it. Although in Kill Team, you pretty much strike in all the time. And with these, you can just use the D6 to randomly select it. You can only have each one once though, so you can't have the same one more than once. Or you can just choose. You can simply choose one, which I think is more fun. And just picking that one, the number 1, Scurry, while this operative has a conceal order, you can add black to its movement characteristic. So again, that's really going to help you get across the battlefield and certainly help you pick up that sneaky 1 extra VP with the Nowhere Unreachable TAC Op. Next, you can look at strategic assets, and these are going to be added to your base of operations. And these are going to help you re-roll a casualty test. They're going to allow you to use that hiding tactical ploy without spending any command points. Or there's the Insurgent Dead Drop, which is going to give you some additional benefits during the scouting step of the mission sequence. Then you've got requisitions, and it says here at the top that you can use these in addition to other sources. So you can also use some from the compendium as well. You don't have to just choose these, but these are going to be tailored to the WYRMBLADE. And finally, we're on to Spec Ops, and the first one is called WYRMBLADE Assassination. And this is that narrative again of taking out those enemy targets. And then the second is Clandestine Warfare, again being sneaky, hiding, waiting to strike, ambushing, all that kind of thing. There's also 4 pages telling you how to paint your kill team as well. So a real thorough step-by-step guide going through how to put them all together. So that's included in the White Dwarf magazine as well. So there we go, that's an overview of everything included in the White Dwarf magazine and a little bit of a comparison to the compendium as well. So hopefully this has given you a good idea of what you can expect from the White Dwarf article, and you can decide whether or not it's worth picking up for your collection or not. And if you're in the US and can't get hold of a copy, at least you've got a little bit of a head start now as well. So I hope you found this helpful. I'd love to know what you think about this kill team. Is this one you could imagine playing? And do you think they've improved on what was included in the compendium? I think there's a lot more going on for sure, but is more better or not? I'd love to know what you think, so let me know in the comments section below. And thanks so much for watching. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'd like to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters who make these daily videos possible, and if you're interested in joining the community, it'd be awesome to see you there, and I'll put a link for that in the description down below.